The next thing I did was identify some of the arguments about Cal Green. Cal Green really started in 2008. They wrote it, and I actually worked very, very hard on that book. Then 2010 came. And in 2010, they quite massively modified it, and they actually simplified it. The 2008 was very, very similar to LEAD, as much as you can think of. It was very, very similar. What happens is that there was an article that I popped, I have 3 or 4 articles that I picked up, that simply, there are challenges. But for God's sake, the platinum has a challenge. Even silver has a challenge. One of the challenges is this particular building in Rodeo Drive was cost. At the end of the day, do you want to pay for it? What is that factor? What is that? And what is the dollar per point figure? Everybody knows what the word low-hanging fruits are, right? The one that your kids can pick up. And then dad comes and picks up the other one, then you meet the ladder, then you go higher and higher, right? So the question is that, is it possible not to attempt to do platinum because it's a voluntary anyways, quoting goes for a show, and might as well go back and mandate something that becomes global. Now you're not going to pick up all the fruits throughout the whole tree. They'll have all the fruits which are in the bottom, but they'll have the same amount of fruit, maybe more. The other one is, if you recall, I have a little bit of gray hair, and you all do too. The main issue is, if you recall, the very first Title 24s. It was just little dinky single little forms, and we were allowed to put so many watts, and then they made it difficult. But right now, if you go to a restaurant, make sure you take your flashlight, because you don't know what color the food is. Because you don't have enough lights. They are forcing you to put LEDs. Very, 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 very high efficiency balance, because the Title 24 has made it more restrict and restrict. So the issue that you have, we know where this thing is going. It's going to force the industry, what, you're at one gallon per flush. Are we going to be at 0.8?
The next one will be, yeah.
Next one will be at 0.8. So the main issue is, we were at what? You guys remember the very first one? 5 gallons. And then was?
3.5.
And then?
1.6.
And then?
1.28.
What is the difference? Joe told me how to do that. What is the percent difference between 1.28 and 1.6?
20%.
20%. And guess what? The prerequisite of the LEAD for the water is, say, 20%. Where did that come from? Exactly the capability of the industry to go from 1.6 to 1.28. And then when you go down to 1 is, from 1.66 to 1 is 30%. And remember, now they are pushing you in the LEAD to version 3 to go to 30%, which means what? Use the 1 gallon per flush, and all of that 12 that we have is 1 gallon per flush, right? That's the difference, 0.6. So really, some of these numbers did not come out of the rabbits and the magician's hat. They came out, what does the industry can do? Now, don't forget that the Cal Green is becoming the law January 1st. Is it overall? No. Residential is July. Why? Anyone? Any guess? The plumbing industry says, we're not ready. The plumbing industry cannot have all the colors for Mrs. Jones, of the bathroom colors, and Mr. Smith. One was black in his bathroom, and the other one's green, and the other one's... So they procrastinated so that the factories can be ready for July 1st of 2011.